Welcome back to another edition of the Salt Lake City Gulls here on OOTP 27. And as you can see, we're a bit into the season here. It is late June. We are getting close to where we go over the actual stats and everything our team has been doing. But, we could see here we're 37 to 47. The team hasn't been as good as I was kind of hopeful that we were going to be. After last year's first half, I got it in my head to be like, maybe we're a bit scrappier than I realized. But it really hasn't worked out. We did just go on a bit of a win streak here, a W6, where we won this series against Boston, took 2 out of 3, and then we took that tail end game into a sweep over the New York Yankees, and then took 2 out of 3 from Seattle here, as now we head into a series at home against Toronto with a day off in between. But, overall, team hasn't been doing too hot here. One thing we do well, though, here in Salt Lake City, is we put butts in seats. We are 6th in total attendance in all of Major League Baseball. That's pretty damn impressive, even with, a team that's not performing well. People just must love seeing the Salt Lake City Gulls. They must be showing up being like, these guys, they're swiping bags, they're putting the ball in play, they're playing fast-paced baseball. I mean, what's not to love? Aside from the fact that, we're losing games. Alrighty, folks, so here we are. It is July 11th. It is time for the first-year player draft, but before we do that, as always, it is time to go over how our team has done here in the first half of the season. And as you can see, we are 42 and 52 on the season, and as of late, it has not been going too well. As we take a look at our expanded standings here, we are last place in the AL West Division with a minus 27 run differential, which is not the worst in the American League. Even of the last place teams, I would say we're definitely the most competitive of the last place teams. And our division isn't exactly the best right now. The Mariners and Athletics are not great teams on paper. So, something could happen. We could just suddenly turn around in the second half and make a run. But, where we are right now, probably a lot of the guys who are helping us, who would help us, are probably going to be getting shopped at the deadline. Guys like Steinmetz and anybody on a one-year deal, essentially. So, not ideal. You can see here, doing pretty well against, or not well against right-handers, but getting thrashed against left-handers. One-run game record is not doing too hot. I think last year we did really well in one-run games. That was a big part of our success in the first half of the season. This year, not so much. Very fluky stat, obviously, and this year it's breaking the way it didn't go last year. So, not great start for us here at 42 wins and 54 losses. Take a look at our team stats page. You can see here April, treading water. May got our teeth kicked in a bit. And then in June, we were actually above 500. And now here in July, we're 4 and 6 so far. And then also, I'm already noticing some changes on this page right here. I looked at this maybe 3 weeks ago in-game, and batting average, hits, and extra base hits were all around anywhere from 6 to 8. So already significant regression to the mean in those categories, and suddenly this hitting category does not look like it did before, where it was looking okay, where we had some single-digit numbers around here, but now it's mostly just bottom of the league, except for stuff you would expect with our sort of strategy. Third in least amount of strikeouts, the most stolen bases with 168 as a team, and a positive base running this year with 7th as a base running. So we run the bases well, we swipe bags, we don't strike out, we put the ball in play, but we're not getting hits right now. The ball is not falling our way, unfortunately. And I do think our team is actually pretty good. I think we have some decent hitters. It's just they're not hitting right now. The ball's not breaking our way. And then on pitching, it's definitely always going to be an uphill climb here because we have a slightly easier to pitch in stadium than Coors Field, but it's still, it's a very much hitter-friendly park. And the pitchers are always going to be having an uphill battle here, so we're going to have to figure that thing out, but right now, 10th in runs allowed, 11th in runs scored, not what you want. But some decent stuff here, 8th in BABIP, 3rd in walks allowed, the 4th best zone rating, but then also 15th in errors. Not really sure what's going on there, to be honest, but, committing a lot of errors for whatever reason. And before we actually go over how our team individually has been doing here, I do want to mention that Evan Hollick did come back from his UCL. He was on a rehab assignment, pitched an inning and a third in Tucson, and immediately strained his oblique. And I did not want him pitching through that, so now he's just back on the IL. Maybe he'll be back in time for the deadline to where we could possibly trade him to somebody, but right now, not looking too great. Another thing I want to mention is that Porter Hodge was playing so terribly for us that he is now in AAA. 37 years old, the Salt Lake City native, had a good season for us. Good on paper. He had a good ERA, got some saves for us. I'm looking at this, the wrong thing. But here, good season in 2037, 1.5 wins, good all-around year, 19 saves in his home state, in his home city. And then this year, he just completely shat the bed, giving up way too many home runs, walking way too many guys, just not getting the job done, blowing a bunch of games for us. You could see here he already had 5 meltdowns. I don't see the blown saves here, but I'm pretty sure he had multiple blown saves as well. It was not getting it done. And we moved him to a middle relief role, wasn't getting it done there. So now he's in AAA for us, as you can see. 11 games down there. He's pitching decently well, giving up a good amount of home runs, though, because it is AAA. But, I mean, he was giving up a ton of home runs here. But, once again, it's Salt Lake City, where the home runs are going to fly because we are in a slightly, it's not as crazy as Coors, but it's, still pretty crazy. But then taking a look at the actual big league pitching staff here, we will just take a look at the starters and then the relievers. Vinny Diaz has actually been quite decent. You can see we are running 2 followers right now because Kiraz has now moved to the bullpen, because out of nowhere, Kiraz had a player development update. If we look on his scouting here, and his stamina just randomly dropped from 40 to 35, or 40 to 30, after it improved from 35 to 40 over the offseason. So I don't really know what happened there, but he just was not able to start with 30 stamina, so we moved him to the bullpen, and now he has been an opener for us. So he is opening games for Leo Yara and Vinny Diaz, and Diaz in that opener role has actually been quite good for us. You can see here he's had some decent percentile ranking in some of these things, and then other ones not so much. But K percentage, velo, O contact rate, fastball run value, the guy throws really hard. And if we look at his splits here, as a starter, didn't do so hot. As a reliever, this is as a follower, really good in 9 games. So we're going to keep rocking him as a follower. And then looking at the other follower, Leo Yara, who replaced Kiraz in the rotation, because he was pitching so well in back-to-back years in AAA, I was like, fuck it, let's give this guy a chance in the rotation. 23, almost 24 years old. Why not? Sink or swim. So we take a look at his stats, sort by major leagues. As a starter, wasn't getting it done. As a follower, only 3 games so far, but still much, much better. So he's going to keep rocking as a follower for us as well. And then the true starters on the team, Hector Gomez has actually been pretty decent for us. Some good run value with his fastball as well. 19 starts, been a better than league average pitcher. We will take that, absolutely. And then we have Landon Harper, the Rule 5 selection, who has some decent percentile rankings here that makes me think we should stick with this guy. But also, we might move off of him and give somebody else a chance. He's also hurt, so he'll probably get thrown on the IL here soon and replaced there. But he has not had the greatest season for us. And then if we take a look at Jacob Steinmetz, he's actually been quite good for us. So, good year for him. Probably going to be trade bait here at the deadline. As he pretty much always is in this universe. But Steinmetz has pretty much done his job, so we're not going to complain too much about that. And then taking a look at the relievers, where we've had to change things around a bit. Our closer is currently Lorene. He is doing quite well. He's got 8 saves, 8 shutdowns. He does have a decent amount of meltdowns too, but, for what he is, he's been having a good season. So he's going to keep being our closer. And then we have the 2 setup guys, the double barrel and Balinson, who has actually been having a really good season. The right-hander we picked up as a free agent. And then left-hander John Taylor, he's been okay. Basically exactly league average in 51 innings. And then he has a 1.8 home runs per 9, which is not great. So definitely needs to cut back on that. But he's the best lefty we have to put in that role right now, so he's going to keep pitching in that role. And then the rest of the bullpen, you have Travis Williams, who has definitely not been as good as he was last year. He's actually been quite not good this year, unfortunately. But he is one of our better guys that we have available, so he's going to keep pitching. And he has the good ratings, so I'm like, eventually the ratings are going to take over, I hope. But for now, he's not pitching well. And then we have Kiraz, who I mentioned is the opener. If we look at his numbers, this is not really going to be too indicative because as a reliever, just a true reliever, he hasn't been good. But as a starter, some of these are as a true starter, some of these are as a opener. He's been much better in that role. And then you can see we also have called up Jamie Scudder from AAA, who we picked up from the Dodgers in a trade last season. Didn't realize he's from Wright State. Always been a big fan of Wright State. They always tend to have some athletes out there in college baseball. Also, where the lead singer of Guided by Voices went to school and pitched, Robert Pollard. But Jamie Scudder here, he's actually been quite good for us. Was decent in 48 and a third innings for us last season after coming over from the Dodgers. And he was really good in AAA for us, so we called him up, and he has been fantastic in our bullpen. So he's going to keep being a member of our bullpen here. We might even put him in a stopper role. We'll have to see. That might be something we think about here. And then Matt Oliver is up as a lefty here. We sent down the other guy, whatever his name was, Walls or something like that, because he was not getting it done. And Oliver was doing well in AAA. We called him up to the big leagues here, and he's been okay. You know, ERA slightly worse than league average. The FIP is much better than league average. And overall, some decent numbers, some good percentile rankings, so we're going to keep rocking with him as well. We might even just try something where like maybe him and Scudder are stoppers because they can pitch deep into games. Something to change the vibes here in the bullpen. It's worth trying. And then Drew Titsworth, unfortunately, has not had as good of a season as he had last year for us. He has been well below average with the ERA. 5.0 ERA this season, but you know the numbers, the K percentage is the K minus walk percentage is definitely down, but the walk percentage isn't too much higher than he has had in his career. But the BABIP is pretty crazy this year. If you look at his career numbers here, his BABIP has never been anywhere near 372. He's just getting really unlucky this year, which sucks because our team on paper should be good defensively, and they have a good zone rating. They're just committing a lot of errors. So now on that transition here to the offensive side for our Gulls, we will sort by wins above replacement, where we have multiple players who all have around 1, possibly round up into 2, but you know, nothing too crazy here on this team. Brandon Poore has been up and down this season. He's had moments where his WRC plus is like 120, and he's had moments where it's been down here. Right now, unfortunately, it's down to 82, but 24 doubles so far for him. Yeah, we've got him for 2 seasons. He is what he is. He should fit in with this plan. And right now, he's mainly glove and fielding because he's been really good as a third baseman for us. So at least he's got that going for him, plus the base running. But the bat, definitely not there right now for him, unfortunately. And then we move things on to Marcos de la Cruz, who did get off to a bit of a slow start this season, but he's starting to come back around here, as the bat is above league average now. 14 doubles, 11 home runs for him, 41 runs driven in, 11 swipe bags at not a great rate. And then he has been playing a solid outfield as well. Not really sure how he has a minus 20 arm rating, considering he has a 60 arm rating, but you know, whatever. He's a good right fielder for us. We like to see it. And then Max Clark, unfortunately, you can see he is rocking in a leadoff spot because for a while he was rocking like a 380 OBP. And just until recently, that has started to turn in the other direction. If we look at his splits, I guess maybe I didn't look at this too often. So I guess, you know, he's really started to come back around the no offense Max Clark here. And he's going to be dropped in the order here. But, you know, doing his thing on the bases and in the defense, as we would expect, 5 ZR in center field. And he's got 32 swipe bags and a 91.4 rate on the base paths. And then move things on to Harley McGee, who is once again doing his thing. Being a decent slap hitter for us, putting the ball in play, doesn't strike out. 800 OPS, we'll take it. Swiping bags at a high rate, we will absolutely take that from Harley McGee. He's been a good player for us. And then Victor Matos has actually been quite the surprise for us. Only 37 games, as you can see from him here. Called him up from AAA. Remember, we picked him up in a trade with Washington over the offseason where we sent Manny De Los Santos to Washington. They gave us Victor Matos, who is somebody that we signed with the Nationals in the IFA class for $500,000 flat in 2028. And now, all these years later, 10 years later, he is our second baseman here with the Gulls because Sanchez and Underwood were not getting it done. Underwood more so was doing decent, but Sanchez was just truly terrible, so he's now down in AAA. He passed through waivers. And right now, Victor Matos is our second baseman, obviously running a very hot BABIP, but, he just seems to be a guy, you look at his numbers throughout the minors, he's always running a high BABIP. So he just may be a guy who always has around a 350-ish BABIP. So hopefully he can keep running hot and he can keep providing value for us because he is an interesting player and he's a switch hitter and we're going to keep running him at second base. And then we move things on to Scarborough Green. He's actually been quite good for us, playing every third game at DH for us against both sides, against righties and against lefties. And he's got a above league average WRC plus, so we'll take it. 15 doubles, 37 ribbies, 28 swipe bags at an elite 93.3 percentage. We'll take it. Absolutely. Scarborough Green doing his job. Move things on to Jeremy Kempers, who is now our fourth outfielder, but he's also playing every second game in left field. So him and Birdie are kind of just basically splitting time in left field because Birdie got off to a really, really poor start. You could see here in April, terrible. May, much better. And then June, July have both been also terrible. But he's splitting time with Jeremy Kempers, who has been really good in limited time. Only 200 plate appearances, but a 113 WRC plus, 11 doubles, and 10 home runs for him. He's going to keep getting time, and hopefully he keeps hitting for us. Move things on to Carrizales, who's actually started to come around a little bit more with the bat here. This was at like one point in the 60s. He did have a bit of an injury. He had a elbow strain that took him out for 5 weeks, unfortunately. And that was doubled up with a wrist tendonitis, too, that I think he played through. I'm not really sure. But he was definitely on the IL for this elbow strain, and then recently has come back from that to be our glove-first, mainly shortstop. But, walking a decent amount, not striking out, not too terrible. So we'll take it, I guess. And we already talked about Birdie, got off to a slow start. He is what he is. He's pretty much just the utility guy at this point, but, he's still valuable to have. Billy Underwood, him and Matos are splitting time at second base right now, and he has been much better as of recently. Unfortunately, he does have some knee tendonitis, which is affecting his running, but for now, we're going to keep him playing through it because he's been playing well. As of late, 10 doubles on the season, BABIP once again running hot, but he is one of these guys where if he's going to hit well, the BABIP is going to be running hot, and he's going to keep splitting time at second base with Matos, while being a backup infielder as well. Move things on to John Gallardo, who has been, nothing too crazy, but he's been good. Some good percentile rankings here, not as crazy as they were in AAA last year. But here in the bigs this season, they're pretty solid for sure. He's a useful player. He fits in with our philosophy here, aside from the strikeout percentage. Has some more power, and we need some pop in the team. He's going to provide that pop. 105 WRC plus, 12 doubles, 16 home runs, pretty much splitting time with Scarborough Green at DH. So all around, good season for him so far. And then we move things on to the catcher position, which has honestly been a total fail. I mean, you could see both of them have negative wins above replacement, despite them both being very good framers, a 5.9 frame rating from Bailey and a 2.7 from Salas as the catching tandem, but they are just so dreadful at the plate. They are a complete nothing. I hit them 7th because that's where I like to hit my worst hitter, but even with that, I mean, it's just, they provide no value whatsoever to the team here. And it's not like our pitching staff is reaping the rewards of this run value. So, we may at some point maybe call up Poto. Probably one of these guys is going to get traded at the deadline. And Poto Fittipaldi will end up catching for us and maybe be a bit better offensively. But it's been unfortunate to see this cool framing tandem catching has just not worked out at all. And I did mention previously that Ibert Sanchez was passed through waivers because he was performing not well in the big leagues. Here you can see it. I mean, not good percentile rankings. He wasn't getting on base, wasn't hitting for an average, really wasn't doing anything well. So anything that he is on the big league team to do well, he was not doing it. So we sent him down, and now it's the split time between Matos and Underwood at second base. Oh, also, like I said, Jerry Mendoza didn't end up playing very much. Once Kempers came back from his injury, Mendoza was passed through waivers. He's in AAA for us. Not even doing well down there, so probably not going to be long for this organization. But now it is time to dive into the first-year player draft here in 2038. We have the number 11 overall selection. Somehow the Brewers ended up with the 13th, 14th, and 15th overall selections. 2 of them compensation. 1 of them was their actual selection. That's crazy, but the Brewers have 3 first-round picks in the actual first round. We have the 12th overall selection. We dropped from 11th. The Stars had the best odds, but they dropped to number 2, so still pretty solid there. The Athletics jumped all the way from 14th to 4th. Crazy enough. Well, let's jump into things here. Start the draft. We will see who the Yankees take number 1 overall. They take Brandon Rolo Davis, a pitcher with really good personality out of Montclair State. That's in New Jersey, folks. Montclair State, Upper Montclair. Montclair State. I believe that is the school that Sam Mills went to. Bam! Got it up on Wikipedia right now. Sam Mills, Pro Football Hall of Famer, went to Montclair State, which is a crazy, crazy feat because they're a D3 football program, and I believe at the time their football coach was also the baseball coach, who was also at some point the Rutgers baseball coach when Todd Frazier was there. A bit of New Jersey history for you. Off the top of the dome. But anyways, we move things on. Number 2 overall to the Nashville Stars. They take Tony Old Iron Hands Aviles. Mike Avile. It's been a long time since I've said Mike Avile. Mike Aviles. I used to be able to say that perfectly, and now I can't because it's been 10 years since I've said his name. But this guy goes number 2 to the Nashville Stars. And now we are here with our 12th overall selection, and we have some decent players to actually choose from here. It seems just right off the bat the obvious one is to take this college catcher who, doesn't fit with our speed agenda that we've got going right now, but 70 blocking, 70 framing with a really good potential power, 3 true outcomes, but also some good BABIP to go with it. Horrible personality here with the low adaptability and baseball IQ, but I mean, very intriguing from a defense. Not going to be able to throw out runners, but from a defense and hitting standpoint, I mean, he's got to be the best option, right? Like, this guy's not going to be able to play defense really either, so he's all bat. This guy fits in more with our philosophy, but I guess he's like a third baseman, maybe like a left fielder. I think you got to go with the catcher. Ivan Kennedy, I mean, that's intriguing. That's intriguing for sure. Man, that is really intriguing. We all know how much I like the big-time control guys. You're going to combo it with the movement, too. That is intriguing. Not going to take the reliever. It's really either going to be the catcher or Ivan Kennedy. Our scout thinks we should take the catcher. I think we're just going to go with the catcher. I don't think we're going to think about this too much. We're just going to go boom. He's the catcher. We have a catcher issue at the big league level. We need everything in this team, but catcher, definitely a good way to go. So we're going to go take him at 12th overall. Juan Chuch Venegas. Boom. Lock that in. Move things on to round 2, where we are already down to just a couple 50s available, and they're mainly just relievers. Yeah. Good personality class in this guy, though, so that's interesting. Grebe, probably not. Bishop, I mean, he's whatever. And I mean, out of those guys, it's definitely Patino. I prefer because he has the personality class, he's durable, and they've all got similar ratings. And then just a bunch of 45s. Yeah, I mean, these are all sort of by alphabetical order, too, so I would have to definitely, dive in and see if there's any standout hit tools or anything. I mean, he's a 35 potential. What if we just go 45 potential? And then we look at the hit tool here. Eric West. That's intriguing. From Rowan? Okay. Another D3 school, folks. I'm tempted. I'm tempted to take Eric West out of Rowan. You also have Steve Simmons with his big-time eye, but he can't field. So the best 45 potential outfielder range-wise, Medrano. I mean, that swing and miss is going to put me off of him. Uribe. He's got the bat to ball, but he doesn't have any gap power to go with it or eye. Probably not going to take Uribe at this point. Wilkinson, not really that interesting. He's a fake outfield range guy because he can't even play in the field. Okay. Tom Martin with some big-time gap power, really elite speed. Could give you a really good outfield plus a third base. That's interesting. But the BABIP is not great. So I think that would push me off him. I'm going to throw him on my interested list, but I don't think I'm going to take him here. I think I'm also going to throw Uribe on the interested list just to have them there. What about infield range? Yeah, there's Eric West. He's the one that stands out the most. No. Yeah, none of these guys... I mean, I really think it's Eric West. I think Eric West is the guy we want to go for here. He's our guy. We're taking it. I'm not thinking too hard about it. We're taking Eric West. We're going to lock it in. Round 2 selection. Move things on to round 3. And literally everyone that we added to our interested list is gone. That's awesome. All right. Jimerson is here. He's got 65 range, but it's all power, nothing else. Kind of like a Trent Grisham, but I feel like Trent Grisham has more walk capabilities than he does. Yeah. Any good framers here? Okay. He's got the holy trio. Could be a potential decent catcher to have down the line. Do I want to take another catcher this early? Maybe, maybe not. Now, this is probably more intriguing to me because he's got the gap power to pair up with this speed, and he's got the framing. He is a high school guy, though. They're both intriguing to me. What if we look at the pitchers? Just any pitchers available, 45 potential. We got Gabe Kohler here as I'm getting a spam call. Durable, good personality. Kind of like a Jamie Scudder profile here with the big-time movement. Not as good of control, but still decent. 45 stamina too, but he's only a 2-pitch guy. Could be interesting. And then you've got that Patino guy who's still here as a reliever. And he's got the holy trifecta. What about starters? If I just sort this by starters, there's only a few 45s. Pete Moody. Cameron Greed. St. Peter's. The Peacocks. Good personality. Nothing really too special here. But he could be somebody. I think it's either... I mean, it's... Moody's personality sucks, though, and Greed has good personality. I think we're going to go with Greed. Where the hell's Greed? Here we go. We're going to go Cameron Greed. We're going to lock that in round 3, move things on. Gabe Kohler is still here, and I think we're just going to go and take him. That guy's fragile. Yeah, we're going to take Kohler. Move things on to round 5. We do have some hitters available here that still have 45 potentials. Big time pop on this Francisco Diaz guy. He's got adaptability and baseball IQ. Nothing going defensively, though. This guy could be a decent outfielder. Maybe. Maybe we go with him. This guy's probably more of a third baseman than he is a shortstop because of the turn DP. Could be interesting. Maybe. I think it's either going to be down to Moises Marine, or Marin, however you would say that, and then John Prevat, however you would say that. He's a bit more expensive, but we've got plenty of room. 60 range on him. Yeah, I mean, it's mainly avoid K, too. Or we could go with the all-bat 70 power guy. You know, let's try to get a power guy here. Why the fuck not? Let's get Francisco Diaz in the 5th round, move things on round 6. Probably going to end up taking this catcher for his framing. Calderon is maybe. Real could be interesting as well. Let's take the college, or the high school reliever here, Diego Real. Move things on. Now it's just, Calderon. Let's just take Calderon. Boom, lock that in. Are there any, everyone 45 potential, or everyone's below 45 now, so it's 40 and below now. All right, so where we left off in round 8, we ended up taking a 40 potential guy, good range. We're just going to quickly run through this. We then took in round 9, good gap power, decent base runner, good infield range, could be a really good third baseman. Oh, he's a lefty, so he's a good first baseman. Who knows? I honestly didn't realize he was a lefty when I took him, so whatever. Round 10, another guy with really good personality. Could be a third baseman if some of this improves, but probably just a first baseman with this speed profile, gap power to pair with it. Sure. Then in round 11, we took another guy who could be a really good potential utility player. 65 range in the infield, good arm, and 50 range in the outfield. Elite sack bunt player. And then it's just already down to just guys that we're just, you're squinting at and trying to see a ball player somewhere. And then at some point you're getting down to here, and it's just guys with good personality. So that's our draft class here in 2038.